Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of my amendment, which would exempt from H.R. 527 all rules that the Office of Management and Budget determines would result in net job creation. Under President Obama, our country has rebounded from the Great Recession, creating 11 million new jobs over 5 years, as unemployment is falling at the fastest rate in 3 decades. Consumer and business spending have catalyzed the fastest gross domestic product growth since 2003. My amendment would ensure that this meteoric growth and progress continues. Contrary to my Republican colleagues' assertion that regulations kill jobs, a wealth of unimpeachable bipartisan evidence has repeatedly and effectively debunked this claim. Studies by both the San Francisco and New York Federal Reserve found that there is zero correlation between job growth and regulations, and that there is no evidence showing that increased regulations and taxes have any effect on the unemployment rate. And the evidence that regulations harm the economy, the only evidence relied on for the absurd figures repeated by the proponents of this bill derived from a study roundly disproven by the Nonpartisan Congressional Research Service, which found that the study's cost figures were cherry-picked, inaccurate, based on evidence from decades ago, and without contemporary value. I have also heard from my Republican colleagues repeatedly claiming that regulations have a $15,000 regulatory burden on American families, on each American family. Consequently, the Washington Post awarded this claim 2 Pinocchios on January the 14th, arguing that this absurd figure has serious methodological problems. Even the report itself admits that it is not scientific, and it's back of the envelope. We fear that these caveats are being forgotten as it is repeated in Capitol Hill news conferences and then in news reports, and sometimes even on this floor. Mr. Speaker, the economy and job growth are growing at its fastest pace in years on the back of sound economic policy and sensible regulations. Despite this growth, it is clear that many continue to struggle to live comfortably on their income, pay their bills on time, or set aside for retirement. Americans work hard, harder than ever, thanks to corporations maximizing profits through a streamlined workforce. Meanwhile, the world's top 1% will soon control half of the world's wealth as the compensation of corporate executives balloons ever higher. The same corporations that are continuing to show record profit margins are also pushing deregulation and fewer taxes because they have a myopic obsession with short-term profits at the expense of long-term value creation, according to Henry Blodgett, the CEO of Business Insider. It is also clear that despite this incredible workplace productivity, wages are stagnant, and we do need to fix that. And unfortunately, deregulation does not do so. Last Congress, Republicans blocked Democratic legislation that would increase the federal minimum wage by less than $3, lifting countless full-time workers out of poverty, while saving the federal government trillions in annual safety net costs. Fortunately for Americans, minimum wage increases have gone into effect in 20 states this month alone, bringing the minimum wage in 29 states above the federal minimum wage. But yet, this Congress refuses to take up legislation to increase the federal minimum wage. Perhaps my Republican colleagues will heed the calls of workers across the country for a living wage. This bill does not do that. I ask that my colleagues support my amendment, which does protect jobs, and I yield back the balance of my time.